Dear all, welcome to Hrtech.sg's demo hour, exclusive edition for July 2021, where we will be showcasing best-in-class features of learning and development solutions. Hrtech.sg hosts Singapore's largest and a curated marketplace of over 110 best-in-class providers across 8 talent categories. You could log on to www.hrtech.sg/marketplace to view all these providers. We also are the co-creators of the Singapore Hrtech Market Map, which is supported by Institute for Human Resource Professionals, the Singapore Human Resource Institute, and Singapore Polytechnic. We embarked on the demo hour event series in 2019 to evangelize and promote the use of HR technology. The event actually provides a platform for best-in-class HR technology providers to showcase their high-tech solutions, thereby aiding the acceleration of adoption of HR tech. The event motto has always been only to showcase demos and not presentations. The first event happened in September 2019 at our WeWork facility in Suntec, Singapore. Now we have moved to an on-demand webinar format. In April, we had our demo hour session focused on organizational network analysis. In May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month, we had our demo hour session focused on mental wellness technology providers. In May, again, we hosted an exclusive demo hour that focused on HR tech solutions that support hiring, engagement, and learning of non-PMETs, that's non-professionals, managers, executives, and technicians, which is a terminology used for blue-collar workers in Singapore. June being the Pride Month, we had the pleasure of hosting 4 HR tech providers that were servicing the diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging segment. Today, we are really happy to host 5 HR tech providers focusing on the learning and development segment. Reskilling, upskilling, the entire skilling craze continues well into 2021 as enterprises actually prepare their workforce to meet the demands of an uncertain future. So the pandemic has clearly emphasized the need for every job in an enterprise to be one of continuous learning. So ongoing learning and development has become a strategic focus area, not just for the CHRO, but for the entire C-suite. The writing on the wall is very clear. If a company does not have a learning culture, if it does not have a culture that encourages and promotes individual learning, business performance is going to be impacted. So the focus is not just on hard skills, but equally on soft skills of the future, such as listening, communication, managing time, prioritization, collaboration, and coaching. So enterprises really need to put in a strategy to develop and instill these skills in whatever format suits best for the employees and the teams. So it's not just about creating a skills cloud of important skills, but build a capability strategy for the company too. So it's not just about implementing a learning experience platform. It's equally important that we focus on having and making capability development a strategic business priority. And that's the reason why we are here. We are here to showcase 5 best-in-class learning and development technology providers. Not only do such solutions that we are going to showcase today, do they free up bandwidth for HR professionals to do more strategic work? It really helps the enterprise HR teams be seen as a strategic business partner. So while many enterprises already have made headway in their digital HR transformation journey and are showing positive business outcomes, there is still a lot to be done in this field. So with that, we now move to the first demonstration of the day from Courseplay. I would like to hand over the proceedings to Arjun Gupta. Over to you, Arjun.
Great. Thanks so much, Sriram. Pleasure to be here today. And thanks to all the viewers for being online. So I'll just quickly share my screen. So In our search to make learning a part of the flow of work, we've built a talent suite that captures data for things like competencies, performance, coaching, mentorship, individual development plans. These are all used to provide accurate learning recommendations and provide improved learning outcomes, and give employees a holistic experience and be better connected with their company. We're working with companies like Amazon, Hyundai, SpiceJet, Imami, and many other industry leaders to help them offer end-to-end talent experience solutions for their employees. And I'm going to now loop in my Pratik from my sales team, who's going to give us a quick demo of what we've created. So Pratik, could you share your screen?
Yeah, thanks. So, to continue what Arjun was saying, we have our on the screen right now the login screen for Courseplay, and as you can see, our motto which says train, engage, automate, and measure. So this is one of the four pillars that our the company is based on, that our product is based on. So any sort of training delivery, any sort of employee engagement, and then automating a lot of tedious tasks that the HR departments has, and measuring the impact of learning within the company. What the impact of learning has been on the various roles of the employees. So that's where the platform focuses on. I have gone ahead and logged in to our portal. I'll just switch the tabs. But as you can see, we also have a mobile app on Android as well as iOS. So I will try and showcase our. I have an Android phone, so I'll try and showcase it on my phone today. But I'll just switch over to our admin login. So here, whenever a user logs in, we direct them to our dashboard. So as you can see, there could be various roles a user could have. So we have bifurcated various role permissions and things that the user can do on the platform. As an end user, you might have your employees, your blue collar workers, and all of them, they will have the learner dashboards, and we can show them various things on the platform of their their learning history, their reward history, their goals, their calendars, how things are looking. And then we can have managerial roles. So somebody who has a team under them, they might be learning themselves, but they might want to see traction for their team, what's happening with their specific colleagues that are under them. So they can see various things from them. They can get a pie charts, they can get histories. We have author roles. So the training department leader, or the person who is in charge of making the content or uploading the content on the platform, they can see the traction for all of their courses as a author. And then finally, obviously, we have the admin role, who is in charge of the entire platform, and they can see all the active users, the adoption rate within the platform, and things like that. And this is just a snapshot of the analytics that we can provide on the platform, but obviously we can go into a lot more details when we come to a reporting module. Coming to the actual meat and bones of the platform, when the content piece basically, so we have 11 different types of modules that we can support on the platform, ranging from a simple assignment where you give a task to the learner and they complete it, all the way to an online webinar session, like we are hosting right now on Zoom, or so we do all sorts of integration, and we can keep track of all the online trainings that are happening. And then obviously you have your standard content, things like SCOM files, video files, slideshows, and so on. And all the depository will be stored over here on the platform, all of your content. And basically you can then mix and match and make various courses out of this. You have a lot of access control, when it comes to the courses, what settings you can do, permutation and combination. Basically, you get a lot of settings when you're creating a course. Right. Then we have over here the learner view of the course catalog. So here, as you can see, this is how the learner will view all of their courses. So they get a nice, homepage view of all of the courses, their current modules, their learning goals, recently open tabs, and so on. So if they want to, continue from what they left off, they can visit the catalog. But if they want a more holistic view, we give a list view and we give progress bar as well for the courses. So basically here the learners can get a progress bar of a list of all of the courses. So that's more or less on the learning part of the platform, where they will be seeing all the content and the learning part. But like Arjun was saying, we also do a lot of performance measurement, performance metrics. So here you can see that we do things like coaching, performance evaluation. So you can do coaching for individuals where you would mark their strengths. Think of it like a SWOT analysis for a user. So you can mark their strengths, their opportunities to grow. You can give them certain feedback, and then Courseplay as a platform will recommend intelligently some courses on the basis of the opportunities that the user has to grow on various skills basically. So this is one way to integrate your performance with your learning. But we also have, I'll just go to one of our performance evaluations. So I'll show you one such evaluation where you can actually mark and track the various KPIs, the KRAs of the employee, and you can also get a historical view of what their performance was like, and on that basis also we can assign some courses. So here you can see that they had certain KPIs that they missed, certain KPIs that they achieved in their targets, and we have the historical data over here in the graph, and the managerial rating, the final score. We can link the coaching that I just showed you to that performance, and all of this data can be used to then assign courses and assign training on the basis of what the employee's performance has been like. So this is one of the few ways which we can help the organizations to map the gap between the skills and the performance of the employees with the learner. Then we also have things like action list, chatbot on the platform. So we can assign various action lists to the employees, what they action items they need to complete. So here you can see we have created a sample action list. So if a new employee joins their onboarding, you can show that. They can simply start marking those. We have the chatbot feature where the employees or the users can simply interact with the platform and ask for certain questions that they have. So let's say if I ask it things like if I have any courses, so I will get a nice summary of the courses that are coming from it. And then we also do things like rewards management, mentorship, a KPI evaluation like I already showed you. Then we have a lot of gamification related features wherein we can do things like we can basically gamify each and everything on the platform. We can create gamify modules and courses, um, and then we can create levels, badges, and so on also on the platform. Yes, I will move on to the mobile app. Just one moment. I'll just switch over to my Connect screen. Um, right. Just one moment. So I have opened the app and I put my credentials. Let me just go ahead and log in. Right. So here you can see that I am on the dashboard of the mobile app. We have certain tiles over here to directly go to the courses, the coaching, notification, performance, all of the data that I just showed you. And one more thing that I would like to show you is the multilingual functionality of the mobile app. So I'll just switch over to Hindi, let's say for example, and I will say save. So now as you can see that the mobile app is available entirely in Hindi. You can see that toggle buttons and everything are available in Hindi. That's more or less the mobile app. If there are any questions that are there, we would love to take those on. And
Thank you very much, Pratik and Arjun. Just have a couple of quick questions. I just wanted to find out if there are interesting trends that you're seeing in the marketplace, and what's Courseplay's unique selling proposition, and how are you geared up to meet this new requirements of the enterprise?
Absolutely, and I think that's in line with what we've created, and what we're seeing many clients asking us for is two core concepts. One is bringing learning into the flow of work, into the fold of things, that the learner doesn't have to pursue a separate product or log into a separate application and get access to their learning content. And then the second is looking at the entire talent experience of the employee, and that is something that is sort of very interesting trend, because I think especially post pandemic we found that employees want to be better connected with their companies want to be better connected with their employees, and they want to get a grassroots level understanding of what's going on with them. It's not just about learning, it's not just about performance. We're also seeing managers become more like coaches for their employees, because now we've had to compensate by not being in the same room, and there's a greater deal of connection with our employees. So managers become more like coaches. They want to provide that kind of feedback. Employees want a greater deal of feedback, and they want to track everything, and they want to make sure that they're making concrete steps towards their professional development. So we've put in a lot of work to create a platform that allows you to track that data of how is that employee progressing in their professional development, and from multiple dimensions. So we're looking at coaching, mentorship, performance evaluations, competency evaluations, training need analysis, psychometric assessments. We're looking at all of these different dimensions and pulling all of that data together to create a 360-degree profile of that employee, and give employers that complete clarity of what that person is, because learning is so nuanced. You look at 70-20-10. 70% of your learning is on the job. How do you capture that? You need multiple forms of data inputs so that you can capture all of those nuanced data points and stitch together a full picture for the employee. So that's something we're really excited about, and that's where we feel we've created something that we've got a lot of very excited feedback from our clients that this is exactly what they're looking for, and this is where the industry they feel is also heading.
I mean, customized and nuanced approach to learning. Completely agree with you. Thank you very much, Arjun and Pratik. Really appreciate your support to this event. We now move to the next solution provider. Can I request Vineet from Disprz to take it over? Over to you, Vineet.
Firstly, thanks to the complete team for giving us this great opportunity. I come from a company known as Disprz, and we specialize in skill-based learning and development platforms. And mainly we service customers in Southeast Asia across 5 countries, and also India and Middle East markets. So I'll quickly share my screen and walk you through a short slide deck, and then go through a complete product overview. Feel free to ask me, any questions in between. Yeah, sure. So just to give you a brief overview, Disprz, we are a skill-based learning experience platform, mainly servicing to the learning requirements of enterprise customers, both knowledge workers as well as blue-collar workers for their frontline readiness. So we service about 135 customers globally, and about 40 plus customers in Southeast Asia, and have added about 1.5 million users over a period of 5 years of operations in both India and global markets. So if you look at the market, the requirement of learning is changing very rapidly. Basically, there are 4 pillars on which the companies are focusing. Firstly is the industry depth. So basically, companies require a solution that provides or fulfills requirements of their business needs, but also does an industry analysis and kind of maps or matches that to what their specific requirements are. So what's happening in the industry, and what's happening within the company, there has to be a right match between both these tracks. Second is identifying the key gaps. So in terms of learning, what are the key gaps for different BUs, business units or departments, and that can be done by looking at a learning maturity analysis, at what stage of learning maturity curve is the company in, and having some innovative assessments to understand the maturity, understand the gaps, and then build the learning. Third is companies prefer learning which is very personalized to the job role, because especially in the Southeast Asian markets, a lot of companies are first time LMS users or family owned conglomerates, or local companies which are Indonesia, Vietnam, Philippines based, who are first time adopting a platform like this. And for their employees, it's very important that it's not just left open ended. So they like something which has got a role based flavor in it, and it kind of has various requirements fulfilled. And also the last is the industry and the future focus. The solution has to not only cover the present requirements, it has to have a futuristic focus in terms of how it can fulfill the gaps in future and increase the learning curve of the employees. Now when you look at this, mainly there are multiple solutions available in the market. Like there are learning management systems which are a bit administrative in nature, and then you have the new age platforms which are the learning experience platforms, which come with a content catalog. They do content recommendations. Like the perfect examples of LXPs are the LinkedIn Learning, Udemy, and other platforms in the market. So Disprz, we are trying to take a very differentiated approach, which is a skill-based approach towards learning. So we have a skill stack and a learning experience platform, which merge together and give a blended overview for a complete role-based learning approach. So we have tools like skill architect tool to identify skills for every job role. Then based on that, you can also do manager feedbacks and 360-degree feedbacks to understand whether the real learning has got a link in terms of job performance. And also the platform powers a lot of AI-based development plans, so that not everything is left on the learning and development team. Rather, the platform can understand the learning maturity of a learner, how they are performing in terms of completion, assessments, and also the manager feedback, and build a AI-based development plan. In terms of the complete experience on the platform, and the advantages is, one is structured onboarding and job readiness. So a lot of companies are very focused on ensuring that the onboarding experience is great, the go-to productivity time is really less, and they take a very role-based approach. And all this is powered by a lot of industry relevant artifacts and contents, chatbots, social based and peer based learning, and other kind of digital tools which are making learning more interactive, and they're also making learning more interesting. So with that, I'll quickly move on to the solution demo side. So coming back to the solution demo side, right? Mainly we have two offerings which blend together to give a unified experience for the learning and development team and also the learner. The first thing is the skill stack, wherein we cover various industries like BFSI, retail, manufacturing. And for every industry, let's say BFSI, if you punch in the job role like a relationship manager, our platform crawls the best industry frameworks, and it provides the right skills for the job role, like functional skills, leadership skills, and mindsets. And once these recommendations are given to the L&D and the talent management team, they can always go ahead and customize this as per their company's requirement. That is, they can look at the skill definition, they can choose the levels of proficiency, and they can also always set up the criticality of a skill. They can benchmark it to a company. So they can do all these changes, and last, they can also add their skills. And that way, what you do is that the L&D team or the talent management team understands that what's the overall development plan for this job role, and they just save it. Once this is saved, automatically everything they have selected or customized gets mirrored on the learning platform. And in future, let's say if there are some role changes which happen relevant to this person, let's say if the same person moves from a relationship manager role to, let's say, head of client implementation role, automatically these can be also simulated. And the skill stack tool gives an overview that what are the new skills on which this particular person has to be trained in order to move from a relationship manager to head of client implementation. So that's the skill stack solution, which mainly is focusing on building the complete skill framework for a job role as per the best industry standards. So once this is done, you move into the learning platform side, where we take a very role-based approach. That is, when you log into the platform, everything gets mirrored as per the shortlisted or selected skills and the specific role, which is relationship manager. So you have the what's new wizard, which tells you what's new happening on the platform in terms of learning. So first thing what you see on the platform is the journeys. So let's say I'm new to the company, I'll go through a structured onboarding journey, and it could be a blended journey, like some e-learning modules, a webinar, a classroom training, all these are stitched together. And then you could go and complete a full role-based journey wherein you understand, the basics of account management as part of your role. And here you have a learning module, which can be authored on our platform. Like you have a video, and within the video, you could have pop-up questions, till the time you don't answer the questions right, the video will not move forward. It's not possible to skip sections of the video. So like this, you can go through this complete learning module, which is a series of activities, and that's how you complete the first milestone in terms of, your learning journey completion. And you have color codes, like orange means you're slightly behind, green means you're completed. So these are basically development journeys or plans for all the mandatory or compulsory training. As soon as I complete that, the complete skill stack gets into action, where all the functional skills, core competencies, leadership skills get aligned. And these help in continuous development of an employee. So if I go into a skill like account management, I can have a course like account management, and then I have learning modules there. And these learning modules can be e-learning modules. They could be classroom modules, modules from outside catalogs, and also webinars. So we take a full blended approach, especially in this COVID times, right? The classroom learning is really going down, and most of the companies are preferring a blended approach of learning. So this complete skill widget ensures two things. One, an employee is, trained or continuously developed. Second, they are, getting ready as per the industry standards. So we call it as a continuous development wizard. And the third thing is the learning recommendations. So we call it open-ended learning, where our platform understands your skills, your job role, and it starts pushing additional learning in form of Forbes articles, additional learning modules, McKinsey articles, which you can consume here. And you can also share it in other social learning groups and things like that. You can star rate them. So this is how the learning is happening. It's happening in 3 layers. One is the mandatory learning layer of journeys, which is all the compulsory learning. Second is the continuous learning, which is happening through skills. And third is open-ended learning, which is happening through a lot of recommendations, both outside world recommendation and inside catalog recommendations. Then moving forward, when an employee is going through this learning, we support them with a lot of interactive features like leaderboard and gamification, wherein you have your own rule book, which can be configured. And, you can go through, various completions and collect points. We support social and peer-based learning at, formal BU levels. And also you can create your own informal groups and learn within those groups. Every time you complete a journey or a skill, you get a certificate. And trending now means these are the most popular articles, modules within the company. Maybe I'm a relationship manager, but if there's some article related to customer service or something related to talent management or any automation process, even that will appear here. That means this is very popular within the company. This is how the learning is happening for a learner. So we take a full role-based and a skill-based approach towards learning. Now, one good thing about our platform is everything is available on the mobile device. So we have the fully enabled mobile app, which is white labeled as per the company brand guideline. That means Yoma Bank has their own app. And once you move into the app, this will be all company branding. So it gives a very, a very inside and a very personalized feel to the employee that it's something not coming from an alien vendor, but it's built for their role, their job, their better job performance. And here you have the same things. You have the journeys, you have the leaderboard, you have other features like chats, and within that we support you with some interactive features like Chatbot. So let's say if I'm new to the company, and if I push in some chat, and if somebody is not replying back, automatically the chatbots will pop up. They'll kind of give me some recommendations on for the information I'm searching. And also we help with a lot of features wherein a manager can intervene. So let's say these are some learning recommendations. That means I can learn about prospecting, lead generation. And then when I go back, if I am a manager, I have a coach your team feature where I can look at each and every team member and I can go through their skills. Again, we take a very skill-based approach, and I can say these are your strengths, these are the opportunities on which you can develop yourself. And when I select those opportunities, the platform also recommends me some content modules which I can select, and I can also give feedback to my team members. So it's like a continuous coaching feature. Yeah.
That's really impressive, Vineet. Thank you for showcasing the demonstration even on the mobile. Really appreciate it. So quick question, right? I just wanted to find out if you're seeing any interesting trends in the marketplace. And number two, what is Disprz's unique proposition to your enterprise customers?
Great. So in terms of trends in the marketplace, now, talking more about Southeast Asia, we see a lot of, trend increasing in terms of adoption of a learning management system. Earlier, most of the companies were, looking at a Moodle or something of, on those lines, but now they're really opening up to, solution offerings like a mobile-based LMS platform. Second is, because of the, classroom training being, cut short because of the COVID situation, companies are really adopting to blended learning journeys. Like we're converting a lot of training programs on our platform. Though we are a platform provider, but we are working on a lot of skilling projects and a lot of projects which involve, transforming their classroom training programs on our learning platform. So those are the couple of 2-3 trends I have seen in the market now. Yeah. Sorry.
And very quickly, what's Disprz's unique selling proposition?
Disprz unique select proposition is that we take a very skill-based and a role-based approach towards the market. All the platforms talk about a lot of open-ended learning and a lot of things happening. But what we believe is still markets like India, Southeast Asia, Middle East, are still at a very nascent stage where the learning should not be very, overwhelming for an employee. Because first thing is they should get used to using a learning platform. Second is they should have the seriousness that this is relevant to my role. It has got a direct link to my performance. And that way, slowly you can move in. Like we have the formal layer of learning, the learning journeys, informal layer, like the continuous learning, and then the open-ended learning. So that's one of the great differentiator we have. We take a role-based, skill-based, and a layer-based approach towards learning. Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you very much, Vineet. Really appreciate your presentation and demonstration. We now move over to Francisca from IMC. Over to you, Francisca.
Okay, hi. Hi, everybody. So I will share my screen. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Francisca, brand manager of IMC Asia Pacific. So basically, I will take you to go through our learning management system. It's called the IMC Learning Suite. So as you also know that currently employee development, training and motivations in the remote working environment is become a trend, a huge trend. But unfortunately, right, investment on this segment may not be as big as it's supposed to be. So that's why I also want to share how that you can use our learning management system to definitely improve the learning and development process, and then also to empower your people and increase their motivation. So just a short introductions about our company. So we are a global digital learning provider. We provide e-learning system, LMS strategy, as well as content. But currently in Asia, we emphasize on the LMS. So our headquarters is in Saarbrücken, Germany. And of course, because it's from Germany, so it's a German engineered system and with a high level of security. We also known for our flexibility, stability, and then we also always try to focus on meeting business performance. Besides this, we also pride of ourselves where 98% of our customers are always with us. So yeah, the retention rate is actually quite high, and we've been in the market for more than 20 years with more than 1,000 clients worldwide. So currently the headquarters for Asia is in Singapore. So our learning management system is actually 360-degree learning management that the company can design their own digital learning environment according to the learner's personal needs and requirements. The enterprise software can be perfectly adapted to any complex learning scenario and smoothly integrated into any ecosystem. It also covers learning experience, management, and also performance in one platform. So the skill-driven development is one of the powerful features that we have, where the system can recognize the learner's development needs and then also match that with the needs with the required courses. Besides this, the LMS also features an adaptive learning, which customizes learning paths for each user to accelerate the skills development. It also combines various learning formats to create comprehensive blended learning experience and also support multi-client portals. So on organizations who has various officers around the region can definitely define what kind of system, what kind of feature that can be seen by each of the organizations or each of the branch, or even if they need to use it also to train the external network, whether it's the vendors, whether it's the partners, or even customers, is possible also to use our learning management system. Besides this, it can be also integrated to any e-payment system. So whether it's the LinkedIn Learning or virtual video assessment tool. So basically there's also virtual video assessment. So it's called Bongo. It's also e-payment system. We can connect it with PayPal and then other third-party platform to enhance the user's experience. So I will continue with the demo on the platform. Thanks. So basically this will be the landing page of our learning management system. So it can be adjusted according to the company brand guidelines. So the image and everything can be adjusted, the logo, the URL also as well. And then besides this, it is also possible to have a responsive design. So it means that we can see, like, for example, if it's going to be like in the mobile phone, we can straight away also change the feature as well. And then we have also a mobile app where the learners could access the content anywhere without the internet connection. It has 42 languages. So for Asia, we have Thai, we also have Bahasa, we have Chinese, we also have Vietnamese, and then we also support the other languages as well. So for this one, if I log into the system, so these are the home page that actually the learner will see. So this one definitely it's according to the learner also profile. So according also to the content that's actually assigned to them. So the system can recognize me, and then besides this, right, the content and the structure can be also defined according to the requirements. And then there's also a snapshot of the current courses. So in here, yeah, this like the main courses that they need to do. And then yeah, there is also a due date, and then how is the progress of each of the courses. Besides this, there's also a recommended learning. So this one is like AI function that actually recognized based on my learning history and then also my profile. And besides this, there is also recommendations in terms of to continue our development. And this is something like if, like for example, also the learners, right, find an intriguing piece of content that they want to also learn, right, it can be also stored in the bookshelf. So that's why it's like a Netflix watch list for the courses that is being bookmarked by the learners. So all of these elements that we see in the dashboard are fully configurable. So yeah, we can pick and choose which widgets that we want to show to the learner. And one of the key elements is also this, the current courses. And then there's several ways actually to enroll for these current courses. So either using the automatic enrollment with the predefined criteria, or it's also possible that the training is being pushed also by the manager or by the admin or by the trainer. And then another way is actually through a pull mechanism. And automation will definitely help the administrative process more efficient. So yeah, I mean, whether the trainer or even the administrator do not have to spend so much time on the engaging the learning and also to enroll the learners. I will also go into one of the courses which provides a learning journey. So this one is actually is called the new manager training. So in here, you can see that this is a bit of a complex setup with a learning journey, and the layout of the course definitely is configurable. And then I can also set it up in a way that all the informations can be placed in a separate row. The syllabus also contains all the learning objects that can be completed by the user. And by clicking this, the collapse structure, I can have also the good look of the course structure and what is it is comprised of. Besides this, the components of the syllabus can be scheduled and sequenced using a learning logic. And we can determine also the learner's journey based on the result, time completion, and or their failures. So a user is also possible to skip a component if the score is high enough, or he needs to oblige to do a component when the results are too low. So if we want to see, how is the learning objects in here, we can see there's a pretest. Of course, this one to assess the knowledge of the learners. And then from there, it can go into the next step. And then besides this, in the introductions, is web-based training. So I believe everybody should know on this one. So it's quite straightforward. But the good thing is actually we also can integrate LinkedIn Learning. So this one is the LinkedIn Learning module that is called Management Foundation. So usually for a company who has difficulties to enlarge their e-learning content, they can just need to integrate with LinkedIn Learning, and then straight away they can get a lot of e-learning contents that can be chosen by the learners. So at the end of the course, definitely there is a test, and then final assessment, and then there's also a feedback form, and then the learners can get a certificate also as well. So this one is a good facilitation for a diverse and engaging blended learning journey. So including like virtual classroom sessions can be also inside here. So if I go into the catalog, so inside this, the catalog, I can see all the available courses. So of course, with the LinkedIn Learning, it makes it also much easier to integrate the courses. If like, for example, the company doesn't have enough e-learning content. So it's very easy just to integrate, and then it's also easy for the learners to find the content or to find the modules that they want. So they just need to use the search term in here, or they can also just choose based on the content types, or even like using this the quick filters. So it's very easy for the learners to actually pick and choose which content that they want to enroll. And there is also another feature which is called this on-the-job training. So basically, this is the training that we can also give to the new hire, especially in this kind of situations where everything become online or even a hybrid. So in here, we can see, and then we can also even put any of the components in here. And then we can also change the sequence also as well. And then if, like, for example, the new hire wants to introduce themselves, they can just have to use these modules, and then straight away click this one and then do the recording, and then put the recording inside here. So whether it's the administrator, the trainer, or anyone wants to know more about the new hire, they can just need to access this. And then another modules that actually is quite important is if, like, for example, right, the new hire also wants to do also like a recording of the task that already being tasked to them, and then they can record how to do the task, and then after that put it into this the attachment, and then the trainer or the mentor can also do an assessment. How is it? And then after that, right, 3 or 6 months later, the new hire can again do a recording and then put the attachment here. So this one especially is very good in the situations like, for example, in the retail, because in retail, I mean, the shops are located in the various places, and then the trainer does not have to go to each of the shop to do the training, or even to check how is the progress of the learners. They just have to access through this platform. And then even the tick function is also possible to modify whether this one can be ticked by the learner, or it can be only be ticked by the trainer or by the mentor. So the next one is actually the skills and the competencies. So for the skills and the competencies is under my competencies tab. And then inside here is actually it will show what is the skills or the job profile that is assigned. For example, the project manager. So there are several job profiles that is being assigned to them. And then in here also, we can see how is the progress, and then what is the requirement. So like, for example, for this, the project manager, agile planning needs to be in the intermediate level, but currently the person is still in progress. But the communications has to be like in the advanced level, and leadership has to be in the intermediate level. And if, like, for example, the person already did a training in the agile planning, and then they want to inform the manager that he did the training before, so they just need to upload the certificate, upload it inside here, and then straight away the manager can approve, and then it's straight away they can also change the conclusions into a green. And then besides this also is possible to do the certification. So basically certification is something that some job profiles required, like, for example, perhaps health and safety environment officer, or maybe a banking officer that needs to do regular certifications. So all of the course, right, can be inside here, and then it can be based either on hours or points, or it's also, we can also put the due date with either relative due date or even the absolute due date. Besides this, there is also gamifications as well. So for this one, you can see from here that there's also the learning experience point. So once they completed some courses, or they completed some of the assessment, so the points definitely is added into here, and then it can be also publicized, or it can be also anonymous, and then it can be also grouped by team as well. And then besides this, we can also have the badges. So basically, we provide a set of design of badges, but we can also offer services to design the custom badge according to the company brand and then also the style. So I hope that the short demonstrations will give a better insight of how our solutions could improve your organization's learning and development process to thrive in this endemic world. Thanks.
Thank you, Francisca. Very comprehensive. Thank you again. Quick couple of questions, right? We've heard interesting trends being shared by other providers too. Wanted to understand what trends that you are seeing in the marketplace. Number two, how was IMC really equipped? What's your unique selling proposition to these enterprises?
Yeah, so currently now the current trend is the integrations of a learning experience platform and the learning management system, because there are a lot of learning experience platform, right? And then most of the time, of course, users want to learn according to what they want to learn. It's not according to what the organization asked them to learn. So because of this kind of trend, right? Yeah, we are combining the LXP and also our LMS. The good thing about our LMS is it has an open interface. So that's why we can integrate the LXP into LMS using a corresponding API function. And then from there, right, we can combine all the content. And then besides that, we can also use the integrated platform to enhance users' experience. And what differentiates us besides the informations of the one that I gave, right? Another challenges that we see is that besides learning experience, motivations, and also link the learning with the company performance are always the challenges that make the company, right, does not want to invest so much in learning and development, because for learning and development, right, the result is always a long-term result. It is not a short-term result. So that's why actually we can also do the learning analytics, and then we can integrate also our platform with any other HR solutions, whether is it Workday or maybe other CRM system like a Salesforce, and then also the e-commerce platform as well. So if, like for example, the organizations want to sell the content perhaps to the third party, to the vendors, or maybe to the external network, is also possible to do that. And then there's also now a video conferencing tool. So it means, like for example, if we do this kind of a Zoom, right, it can be also accessed. So currently we are using Bongo for this one. And yeah, of course, LinkedIn Learning is also like one of the powerful feature that we have that, yeah, we can also integrate. So these features definitely will increase the learners' motivations, enhance the user's experience, and also measurement of the learning success by the organization. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Francisca. It's not just about implementing an LXP, but equally important is every enterprise needs to have capability development as a strategic business priority. Thank you very much, Francisca. We now move over to Enabley, and can I request Jacqueline to take it over from here? Over to you, Jacqueline.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm just going to introduce myself. I'm Jacqueline, Director and Founder of Advantage Consulting. So we are actually an organizational development consultancy with more about 20 years of experience in Singapore and the region. So as a business consultancy, we actually work with clients to actually help them transform through culture alignment, process and technology enablement. So that's why we actually partner with technology companies who actually present best-in-class HR technologies. So we represent Enabley in Singapore and the region. Enabley is actually a SaaS learning experience platform. Okay, the key thing about Enabley is actually they help and facilitate learning content creation and delivery in a very fast, easy, and intuitive method. The premise in terms of the design of Enabley is to actually empower business leaders as well as managers to convert tacit knowledge, right, to explicit knowledge, to ensure that knowledge retention can be effective, and easy to implement. So I think we're looking at how organizations, right, can retain knowledge, build capability very quickly. And I think one of the key things that organizations need to focus on is really institutional knowledge. Okay, so a lot of actually Enabley's clients globally, as you can see, there are many global clients, in Europe, in the States, okay, and then of course very fast growing in Asia. Okay. So if you actually look at the approach in terms of how Enabley is designed, first of all, it's about simplicity. So simplicity in terms of creating content, enhancing, your current content. A lot of organizations already have a lot of learning content in the organization. But in today's world, as organizations move towards, a hybrid workforce, we are looking at, if you actually want to leverage on, e-learning, for example, or blended learning, you do need to actually design your content in a more engaging way, bite-sized learning, or else, your learners are not going to be motivated, because one of the premise, of e-learning is that your learners must be self-motivated. If they're not self-motivated, it's very difficult, to actually, for your e-learning to be very effective. So then, of course, the second approach, we're looking at is, having a robust solution so that it's actually available anytime, anywhere, any device. So whether it's on the mobile, the desktop, 24/7, the ability, to create content and to make the content available, is there. And I think without, repeating myself, but at the end of the day, it's about enabling business leaders to also measure the effectiveness, of the transfer of knowledge. Okay. So I think without further ado, what I'm going to do is go straight into the platform. Okay. So if you actually see the interface obviously can be white label. So, your company branding and so on and so forth. So when we log in first, okay, the setup, I think, is very simple. In fact, one of our clients, we actually, using our services, our Enabley services, actually from the day, they sign, to the day they started to learn, how to use the system, navigate the system, to when they launch their first, course content, it's 2 weeks. So we are looking at a very, I suppose, easy to use, and empowering, not just HR, because actually when we talk about learning these days, it is not about just, HR, driving, and pushing, learning out, to our target audience. So that is why the system is built in such a way that we actually have different roles. Okay, we actually have editor roles, we have instructor roles, we have obviously the learner roles, and of course the super user will be the administrator role. But the whole idea, if you think about it, is that if, let's say, leaders in the organizations and our managers, if they are people managers, they should also be involved, in coaching, in learning, in driving learning in the organization, especially institutional learning. And I think this is one of the key things that we say. If let's say, especially in Singapore, even before pre-COVID, and even now when we talk about, as we move out COVID, more and more people will actually resign from the organization. So when organizations are faced with that, and as part of business continuity, how do you ensure that learning is actually up to speed just in time to ensure that the people in the organization, have the right knowledge, to perform their job, to the best ability as quickly as possible. So when you come into the interface, you see yourself, okay, your learning activities, how many courses, you're here, the calendar, okay, of the courses that you're enrolled for, what's coming up, what's your progress, in terms of your learning. But if you are given the rights, okay, as an instructor or editor, and this is where we also say what is important if you actually want to create learning communities in the organization. So if you see on the left side in the panel, we actually have the concept of actually a collaborative workspace. So if you want to create, let's say, a community of learners, for example, or content creators, you actually give them a workspace to create content. So in terms of what I'm going to show you very quickly, right, is actually how easy it is to actually create content. So the assumption is that if you click, okay, and you actually call it, let's say, demo day, July, okay, 2021, right? okay, and you click. If you don't like the picture, okay, sure, you can always change, or you can create your own, load your own picture in, okay. And once that's done, you actually create the content, and you can actually import content. Okay, so let's take this, right? And straight away, let's say you've got a PowerPoint deck, you can actually bring in content across different file formats, whether it's PowerPoint, Word, Excel, pictures, movies, clips, so it's going through this process as we speak, to actually create the content. So it goes into this process of creating content into a HTML5, format. And then after that, you can actually enhance it, because the whole idea, of creating engaging content is to make it easy, short, bite size. So if let's say you started out, if you started out, with if you started out, let's say, with a deck, right, of 50 slides, for example, you definitely don't want to actually just load 50, slides, into your bite-sized content. You actually have to break it up. So the tool or the platform allows you, to do so. Either you bring in all the content, or you can actually bring in parts of the content, and you can bring in multiple contents, okay, to actually piece together. So you can bring in, a PowerPoint deck, then later on you bring in a video, and within the platform itself, the tools that you can use that allows you to create engaging content. So there's 9 types of questions you can embed, websites, and so on and so forth. So what I have here, okay, is actually some content that I've actually brought in. Is actually a PowerPoint deck. Okay, so once you bring in the PowerPoint deck, for example, you can actually do further enhancements. When I talk about further enhancements, it means you can actually add in, 9 question types. Okay, you can actually add in, rating questions, picture questions, matching questions, and there's also one feature actually called matching questions. What it does is that if you bring in a PowerPoint deck of slides, the AI within it will actually read through the content of your deck, right? And then actually suggest, questions that you could actually have as an assessment. And you can either keep it, or you can actually discard it. Okay, so you can do this, and you can go on. And if you don't like it, you can discard it, and you can actually stop it here. But any point of time, you can actually bring it in. What is also interesting, right, is that you can actually bring in content, let's say from YouTube. So this is actually a YouTube, which I just copied and paste and actually put it in, right? You put it in here, and the add content, and you put the link. Okay. What is also interesting that you can actually then embed, questions. You can embed any of these question types. You can embed any of these media types into a YouTube link video. Okay. So at the same time, you can add in new pages. You can actually delete pages. You can duplicate pages. So this is actually how simple the content enhancement is like. Okay. So at any point of time, when you're going through the content creation, you can of course view it, as a learner. So you can actually see, hey, what does the learner see actually when they go through the content? So once the content creation is done, obviously the next thing is actually to create the actual course. But what is also interesting, if we think about the concept, of learning just in time, and creating, knowledge communities in the organization within the corporate, is that when we look at creation of a course, okay, we're also looking at creation of what we call a knowledge stream. So if you look at it, if I open a course design, for example, okay, the course design allows us to actually create content from existing content. So I can take it, as long as I have the rights, to different workspaces, I can add in content from any of the workspaces. But I can also add in live session. So this is where this is actually where blended learning comes in. So let's say, for example, if I want to create a live session, okay, here, okay, and I take a picture. Oops. Okay. you can actually set the date of the live session. And when I talk about live session, what I mean is that you can actually have a Zoom live session integrated, right? You can actually set the time, or you can actually have it as an whole day event. Okay, if your live session is going to be a whole day. Okay, so what you're doing is that Enabley has actually integrated Zoom, okay, into the platform, meaning to say that if you're already using Zoom, to do your live session, you don't actually have to buy extra licenses. It's all integrated into the platform. And we can do it also similarly for Microsoft Teams. So when, let's say, for example, the day comes, okay, as an instructor, you actually have the rights, okay, to launch the live session. Once you launch the live session as an instructor, the learner goes into logs into his platform, his account, and then he will actually see an event in the calendar to say, hey, there's actually a live session join. So all he does is actually click the button, he joins, right? And he actually attends, the live session. And in the live session, if you can see, if let's say it's a past event, this is where you can also take attendance. You can actually grade, the learner, for the event if there's any grading to be done. So all these is actually available as actually part of the reporting because we can actually collect all this data. So for every event, okay, that you have, or for every course module, there's always, different forms of reporting. And we actually track everything, in terms of, let's say, for example, if there's a video as part of the course, there we actually track whether, how long do you take the video, we can actually set, settings, within actually the design, of the course, that you have to finish it, you have to finish the content, you have to finish the questions, you have to finish the videos, and all these are actually tracked. So at the organizational level, in terms of the reporting, we also get results, like for example, a skills map or a competency map, because every question or every assessment can actually be tracked. Okay, so with that, I mean, these are, I think I've shared basically one of the key features of Enabley, but obviously reporting, okay, is one of the key things that we actually have. We actually have, features, to communicate, with the learners, between instructors and learners. As the learners go through the content, for example, they can actually give feedback, ask questions, right down to the actual page, and then the instructor, is actually then notified, to respond, to the learner. So at any point of time, we actually have the capabilities to ensure that there's actually conversations, because if you look at asynchronous learning, sometimes when there's no connection, okay, with the instructor real time, there is disengagement. So in order to increase the engagement, there's additional features like this to ensure, there is connection between the instructors and the learners. The other thing that maybe before I end, right, is actually the point I want to put across is that managers, for example, are also given the rights to also look, into the I suppose the results, of all the learning. Because if let's say one of the responsibilities of managers is actually to drive learning, for their team, then they would also be able to actually get the results, of the team's learning, okay, and their progress in their learning. Okay, with that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jacqueline. I know 12 minutes is a short time frame, but thank you for showcasing the best-in-class features of Enabley. So are you seeing any interesting trends from your perspective in the marketplace, and how is Enabley geared up to meet the new requirements of enterprises?
Yeah, thanks for that question. I think what's happening right now globally for Enabley is actually a very, very fast adoption, of Enabley. Why? Because I think if you look at all their global clients, I think they are all very committed to learning and development, but also they are also looking at a platform or learning experience platform to actually change the way, learning is actually being delivered. And I think the other thing, as I mentioned earlier, is actually about content within the organization. This is what I call institutional knowledge. So a lot of organizations are, yes, they have a lot of learning. They have a lot of learning from many, external vendors, but what about institutional knowledge within the organization? How do they ensure, let's say, for example, that especially new hires, for example, actually get the knowledge as fast as possible, and bring the people up to speed, to the performance level. So I think that is, why a lot of our clients globally are, like, for example, financial institutions. Okay, because there's a lot of governance knowledge, upcoming knowledge that they have to actually come up to speed very quickly. We have a lot of clients also who are actually like training institutions, technology institutions, because why? When you're actually adopting new technology, for example, you also have to bring your learners or your users up to speed very quickly. So so those are some of our key trends that we are seeing, and actually the type of clientele that we have globally.
Bringing talent up to speed in a short time frame is definitely challenging, and I'm sure Enabley is enabling all your clients on this. Thank you very much, Jacqueline.
Thank you.
Yeah, we now move over to Mercer Metals demonstration. We have Pratik and Sujata from Metal. Over to you, Sujata.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for having us here. My colleague Prateek and I will be sharing a little more about the Mercer Mettl solutions. I'll start off by talking a little bit about Mercer Mettl, and then I will hand over to Prateek for the demo. So I'm just going to share my screen. Perfect. So many of the speakers before me have spoken about skills. So this is definitely a topic which is relevant, which is something we are hearing every day when we interact with our clients. What has changed and what is shaping the need for different types of HR solutions? The first shift which we have seen is that given COVID, given digitization, given automation, reskilling the workforce has become a huge priority. The second is the race for talent. So a lot of our clients, and globally 9 out of 10 companies really believe that the race for talent will further intensify and competition will further intensify. So while plugging in the skill gaps is something a lot of my colleagues on the session today have spoken about, where Mercer Mettl comes in is identifying the right fit candidate by assessing the skills and by helping you focus your development efforts and investments by assessing the skill gap which may be in the existing workforce. Mercer Mettl is a cloud-based platform. Assessments can be taken from anywhere, anytime, and the candidate experience is quite holistic, as Pratik will take you through. And it supports holistic assessments at each stage of the employee journey in the organization. So whether it be at the point of recruitment, when we are looking at internal hires or hiring externally, at the point of skilling or upskilling, when we want to assess the capability gap to focus our L&D investments, or looking at the succession planning initiatives which organizations drive around talent identification, around identifying the best fit successor for a new role. That's where our solutions fit in. We have assessments around psychometrics, which are personality tools, cognitive tools. We also have a set of technical assessments and functional assessments. And when Pratik takes you through the demo, he will talk a little more about each of them. Something very interesting about our platform, which a lot of our clients have been using of late, given COVID, we have all adapted to a virtual way of working. It's impossible for some of us to see our candidates when we interview them. And even in the hiring decision, the use of data has become extremely important. So AI-based proctoring is a solution that we are seeing growing. And that is something which, when we do the demo, we will take you through the platform and show you how it works. So we have 2 parts to the platform, the 360 feedback platform as well as the assessment platform. And the 360 solution offers a very user-friendly interface where an organization can upload their own questions or use a pre-built 360 questionnaire for assessments. We are used globally across the world, across industries. These are just some of our clients. some of the success stories that we've had. And just to end, before I hand over to Prateek, our platform is an extremely scalable platform. So within a day, there's no limit to the number of assessments a company can use or the types of assessments a company can use. So on the same day, you could be running a hackathon for a set of candidates whom you're hiring at a campus, and you could be running high potential assessments for individuals within your organization. This is a QR code, which we are going to use at the end, but I'm going to hand over to Prateek at the moment for him to share a little bit more about the product. Prateek, all yours.
Thank you, Sujata. I'm just going to share my screen, and I'm going to show a demo of the Mercer Mettl online solution. Yeah. So this is our website, and so these are the problems that we solve in the HR tech space. So first one is hiring, talent acquisition, recruiting the best people in your organization, which is segregated into lateral hiring, campus hiring, different types of requirements from different sectors. There are around 12 sectors that we cater, and there are more than 3,200 plus job roles for which we can provide assessments that can be used for shortlisting or filtering out the best candidates who are applying for that position. So this is the first problem that we solve. The second is a very large avenue under learning and development, where we have different solutions catering to different needs in the L&D journey of an employee in our organization. From the psychometric side or from the OD side, organizational development side, we have some of these solutions which cater to identifying the potential of a candidate. This is one of our most popular solution in L&D. Succession planning, learning and development, and conducting assessment centers virtually. So this is again our strength, which we will be covering. And then future skilling and reskilling. This is one of a very popular topic these days, with a lot of future skills frameworks and a lot of discussion around future skills. So this is where we help an organization like Accenture or Amazon in upskilling, reskilling their existing workforce on future skill. So let's say I'm a Java developer and the future skill for me would be machine learning, AI. That is where we help an employee identify the gaps, and accordingly we can recommend them to the learning stream that is being decided by the organization. So these are the solutions, and these are the categories of assessments that we have, which Sujata has already covered. So these are the segregations that we have. On the soft skills side, we have personality, behavior, communication, and cognitive. And then we have a large pool of hard skill, which is segregated into technical and domain. So in this demo, I will be covering 7 important features of Mettl. It's a SaaS-based solution, so you can log in to your account. And once you log in, the first feature that I'm going to showcase is our test library. So like we have library of books, we have a library of pre-built library of assessment. So these are all the popular tests. There are around 300 popular tests that are available in the Mercer Mettl test library. And these are all the skills which are very popular from the talent acquisition or from the L&D standpoint. And these can be filtered using the role, using the test type, industry, etc. So we have those features. And anyone, like it can be a small startup or a large conglomeration, they can log into their account. They can click on any test name. So let's say I'll click on the leadership assessment. They can know more about the test, so they can get a sense of what this test is all about, some of the customers that are using it, composition of the test, how much time it is going to take. This test is also available in multiple other international languages, and what are the tools that will be associated with it. So for example, this test is a combination of our personality and cognitive tools like critical thinking and problem solving. And there is also an option to see a sample report. So they can just click on the sample report. They can see what will be the output. And like this is a typical output for a psychometric test where we provide a one-page summary. We provide an executive summary, a recommendation, what are the dominant leadership styles, whether that leadership styles will be relevant for your industry or the role for which you are hiring the candidate. What are the strengths and the areas of development of the candidate? And then we have a detailed score around the competencies which are important for a leadership role. So these are the 5 pillars under which leadership competencies have been divided: leading change, leading people, result-driven, building coalition, and basic competencies. And you can get a complete overview of a candidate leadership skills as soon as they complete a 60 minutes or a 70 minutes test. And this report can be used for taking a hiring decision, or if this is a, let's say, an L&D project where you are assessing your existing employees, we can provide another report which will have development plan around the competency where the candidate is scoring low. So we can redirect them to some training, we can provide them some books, movies, references, etc. that can help them quickly understand what are their gaps and they can work on it. So this is just an output of a 60-70 minutes test that can help both the organization and the employee understand the gaps and work on these areas. Similarly, I'll just show our high potential assessment, again a Webull test. And this is a test which is very popular in these times when companies are looking for very dynamic people, agile people who are very result oriented, who can lead a team, especially around internal employee setup where they can identify those people, promote them to a leadership or a managerial potential. That is where this test plays a very important role. Again, like it's a plug and play test. And these are the 4 areas, which is intellect, drive, agility, and lead, where we have segregated 9 critical competencies that define the overall potential level of an individual. So immediately after the test, you can like segregate your employees under low potential, moderate potential, and high potential. You can use a 9-box model also. You can compare their potential and performance score. And accordingly, you can plan a development activity based on the group of the audience. So this is the first part which I've covered, which is our test library. Now, as a next step, I will be showcasing how we can custom create tests on Mettl, which is one of our specialty. So there are like close to more than 200,000 questions which are available with us. And anyone who has an enterprise account can log in. They can provide a name to the test. These are the languages that we support. So we are supporting close to 20 plus languages on Mettl for our international clients. And this is a sample test which I have created based on the future learning or the hard skills that are popular these days. So this is a test which I'm creating as an administrator, as a, let's say, as a somebody from the IT team or from the technology team to understand how are the people in the company or people I'm going to recruit to will perform in these areas. So this is the search bar where I can type the name. So I've already typed some names here, which includes coding, we have machine learning, we have JavaScript, we have databases. So all of these are added. And if I want to add some more areas, let's say AngularJS, which is again a very popular skill, I can just type the name of the skill. I can decide whether I want which version of AngularJS I want, whether I want 4 to 7 or even the other latest version. And once I have selected the topic name, I can decide the number of questions. I can decide the section name. So this is like you can all decide, like this is one of the section now in the test, and I can decide the type of question, whether it is multiple choice questions, hands-on questions, which I will be covering, and the number of questions can also be customized. And if you want to see a glimpse of the questions that we will be using to assess the candidate, you can just click on the button and you can see the questions, and these questions can also be handpicked. So all these fields are customizable. You can build a test from scratch. You can decide all the sections, and then you can give a let's say a total duration to the test. So this is how our clients can build a custom test based on their requirements. So depending on the technologies, depending on the skills they want, they can decide, and even like the difficulty level, etc., can also be customized. Now I'm going to click on the preview button to showcase how we are assessing these skills differently. So apart from normal, we have seen that typically most of the assessments that we see have multiple choice questions, open-ended questions, but especially when it comes to technology, we have a pool of hands-on simulations. So this is a typical multiple choice question that we usually see in online assessments. But now I'm going to showcase some of the simulations that can assess the hands-on skill of a candidate. The first one is the database query writing. So this is a simulation environment where a candidate can type the code based on the schema diagram. So this is the structure of the database that is provided to the participant, and they can just type the code and click on the run query button and check if the code is compilable or not. So this is an example of database query writing. Similarly, I'll go to the machine learning section. This is a hands-on question. So we are asking a candidate to do some analysis using a machine learning concept. He can select the language. Python is a very popular language in machine learning, so that has been provided. And now the candidate can type the code. He can click on compile and test, and he can check if that code is solving the problem or not. The best part about these hands-on simulation activities is that it can be graded automatically. So there is no manual intervention that is required. So imagine an HR from a non-tech background, if she is asked to get some of the best candidates from who knows machine learning or Python or any other future skill, she can use our assessment without knowing much about machine learning concepts. She can give a hands-on activity. She can ask a candidate to write an abstract algorithm or to do a pricing analysis using machine learning. And once the candidate submits the code, there is an automatic score that can help us filter those top candidates. So this is saving a lot of tech bandwidth of your company to continuously have interviews with the candidate and just to identify whether they know the basic of machine learning or can they write a code and solve a problem or not. So these are some innovative simulators.
Sorry, Pratik, you have another 30 seconds. So.
Okay, sure. I'll try to cover. Similarly, like we have other simulators that are there. So we have this one around front-end technologies, etc. And overall, there are more than 25 different types of question types that are supported on Mettl. So we have basic question types like multiple choice question, checkbox. We have advanced question types. This includes the ones which I have covered. And once you have created the test, you can click on save and exit button. You can share the test link with the candidate. And immediately after the test, you will get an individual report. So this is an example of an individual report where you can see the overall score, the section-wise score of the candidate. You can see how much correct, how much incorrect options they have. You can also see the code that is being submitted along with the score. So these are the parameters where our algorithms have graded the code of the candidate. And this is the most unique feature of Mettl, which is our anti-cheating feature. So we can ensure the authenticity and integrity of the candidate with the help of our AI proctoring technology that is built on top of the images that we have captured from the webcam of the candidate. So as you can see, any violation, mobile detection, face movement, or if there is an additional person that can be detected. Similarly, we can also understand what was happening on the screen of the candidate, whether the candidate was solving the coding problem or he was searching for these problems on the internet. So this is our state-of-the-art technology, which ensures that you can prevent cheating, because one is activating a webcam proctoring technology along with the test can prevent cheating. And it can also give you an indication around the analysis in the report. We can also provide you a group summary, so you can download all the results in an Excel format. These are the scores of the participants. You can categorize them under average, good, excellent. We also have a performance category curve. So this is our score distribution curve. This is a bell-shaped curve. So you can understand the performance of the test. How many people are scoring more than 80%, what is the average score, what is the mean score, etc. So all these analysis are available to you, and you can, it's like one. So this is our website where you can get more information. So these are some of the clients' testimonials which are there, and now the last thing that I wanted to show are our innovative products. So we can conduct assessments in the form of challenges, which are hackathons. So this is a glimpse of some of the hackathons that are currently going on Mettl, which is a very unique way of conducting assessments, identifying the candidates by creating a challenge. And the last part is the 360-degree feedback, which is more like a feedback platform where you can conduct a feedback at an organization level. And these are some of the unique capabilities and some of the advanced analytics that we are providing in our 360-degree solution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prateek. Quick question. So in the skills assessment and proctoring space, any interesting trends that you would like to share? And what's Mercer Mettl's unique selling proposition?
Should I go, Prateek, or would you like to go?
Yeah, you can add your points.
Okay. So thank you, Sriram, for that lovely question. So as Prateek said, what we are seeing as a trend is some very innovative ways in which organizations are using assessments. Hackathon is one of them. Another thing that we are seeing is the use of both the customized as well as the off-the-shelf products. So a few minutes back, one of our other participants talked about the need for speed, the need for customization, and the need for flexibility. What Mercer Mettl offers is all of them. So we can offer you solutions which are speedy, customizable, scalable, and at the same time can be very uniquely created to make the participant experience very meaningful and interesting. Prateek, would you like to add anything?
Yes. So just one point I want to add, the speed with which the new emerging skills are coming, and there is a lot of work that is going on, upskilling and training, etc. So there's a lot of momentum in the skills ecosystem, and Mercer Mettl is helping in ensuring that organizations and individuals can meet that speed on the assessing the gaps and redirecting the candidate to a training program. So that is one trend. And the second trend we have seen is during the lockdown, we have seen a lot of focus was on conducting proctor tests because of the genuine reason that people are not traveling. This is one thing which is very well accepted by our clients and even candidates also. So going forward, I think we will see a lot of people taking tests, the first level of assessments from their home, from their personal computers, and then traveling for a next round of interviews. So I think hiring process is going to be more easy and more fast in the time to come with the intervention of proctoring technology.
Thank you very much, Pratik, Sujata. It's very evident from the demonstrations today that we all need to create a system of, create a culture of continuous learning. There's going to be a lot of focus, not just on having a learning experience platform plus a learning management system. You need to have a strategy. You need to make capability development as a strategic business priority. The focus is just not on hard skills, but also on soft skills. And essentially, how do you ensure you create a workforce with a workforce that is ready for the future, provide them a continuous, nuanced, and a customized learning. Thank you once again for being a part of the July edition of Demo Hour. We look forward to hosting you soon in another session. Thank you very much.